I really don't mind you being an asshole. You really can't help that. But I do mind you lying to me like I was a fool.
How many liars do you know? It's not easy to quantify. It's easier to ask yourself how many people you trust and rank order them from there. Who can you trust with your fishing boat, your Harley? How about your dog? Let's raise the stakes. You're now dead. Who can you trust to take care of your family? How many people like that exist, and what is it about their character that makes such trust possible? It's easier to look at things like this because calling someone a liar is direct. When you call someone a liar, it implies they've lied explicitly. That's not always the case. A plagiarist, for example, is an implicit liar, but exaggerations or embellishments aren't always motivated the same way. Sometimes decent people do bad things when backed into a corner, right? Let's slow down. Why am I asking these questions? Well, if you made it this far, you probably already have an idea. I'm pretty sure I believed a lie. Let me explain. The most basic observation a human can make is somewhere along the lines of, is the outcome of this action predictable? A liar has the unique ability to obfuscate that observation in a tangential way. When categorized independently, a liar is an elementary criminal. When someone steals, we call them a thief, but the theft itself is a lie at the epistemic level. What's mine is not yours, and that fact doesn't change due to the theft. The what in this scenario is still my stolen property, but you're now a thief, a liar. This applies to both petty thieves and monstrous rapists. You can trust someone to lie to you. Some people are much more reliable than others. We call them punctual, dependable, consistent, conscientious, or trustworthy. They make it easier for our basic observations to be accurate on that same epistemic level. A dependable employee is given a uniform, and some jobs designate ranks on these uniforms to signify levels of dependability. A man wearing a suit and tie is at least trying to give the impression that he is conscientious or trustworthy. That said, for better or worse, the suit and tie is the uniform of job applicants, preachers, con artists, and criminal defendants alike. We have job titles for professional liars. We call them actors. They perform for us, and we praise them for their ability to pretend they're something they're not. The truth of this comes to light on the day of their most important performance. The actor dons the costume and learns the lines of the character to be portrayed, not to emerge from a green room in the back of a studio or a trailer in an exotic filming location. He's rising from a table of his peers and walking full stride towards a podium to give his acceptance speech. But how much of what the actor does in this moment is an act? What is the distance between his true character and the one he's created for himself? The horror lying in wait unfolds after the actor has died and is remembered not for who he was, but for his greatest role. More obvious professional liar is the con man. Fun fact, the word con is an abbreviated form of confidence, alluding to other forms of professional liars like politicians and salesmen. A clearer picture of the con artist is painted by the perennial litigant, who uses the courts to intimidate those unable to defend themselves against frivolous lawsuits. It's akin to burdening someone with an unpayable debt, severely testing the victim's confidence. In a social setting, a con man manipulates emotions and trust to achieve his goals, preying on goodwill and vulnerabilities. He might fabricate stories to gain sympathy, promise things he can't deliver, or subtly exploit relationships for personal gain. This deceit isn't always about money. It can involve extracting favors, information, or social standing. For instance, he might persuade someone to advocate for him based on fabricated credentials or exploit someone's generosity by claiming dire financial straits. He weaves intricate lies about his background or accomplishments to gain admiration and trust, often asking for small favors that gradually increase in scope as the victim's trust deepens. The end result is always the same. The con man gets something for nothing. Again, we encounter the thief, the liar. It's easy to label actors and politicians as liars. Given the countless amount of statements they make, statistically cannot all be true. University of Massachusetts psychologist Robert Feldman's research shows that 60% of people lie at least once in a typical 10-minute conversation, averaging 2 to 3 lies. Another study of 2,000 Brits found that men lie twice as much as women in a 24-hour period. The most common lie amongst both sexes is "nothing's wrong, I'm fine," and the most common motivation is fear. Fear of what? Consequences. A liar is a person who participated in an act, behaved a specific way, or did something they do not want to reap the consequences for. It could be as small as "I didn't see the stop sign, officer," or as large as "I was just doing my job," or even "I signed up to fight the bad guys." A liar is primarily focused on self-preservation. We refer to lies with minimal negative impact as white lies, even though they can still cause chaos if left unchecked. For obviously malicious lies, we don't use the term black lies. We simply call them evil. A salesman might lie about stock to create false scarcity, or a restaurant might extend wait times to appear exclusive. Nobody is hurt, life goes on. Lies that stem from preserving one's sanity, however, are not as harmless. And the potential for collateral damage increases as the liar's sanity decreases. These lies can lead to greater harm because they are tied to the person's diminishing grip on reality. As this grip weakens, the lies can cause more extensive damage, not just to the liar, but to others around them. This behavior, characterized by a disregard for the truth, is known as being licentious, a term historically associated with both whores and tyrants, symbolizing a reckless abandonment of moral constraints and unchecked self-interest. The gap between the reality the liar lives in and the one he wishes to command into existence is a dark, metaphysical chasm where demonic forces find their occupation. And it's a dirty job. In the 1800s, the British-American slang term for dirty job was graft, often referring to digging ditches or other lowly occupations. Over time, it became associated with the dishonest nature that led someone to take such work, evolving into the term grift, meaning to obtain money or property illicitly, a fancy word for a thief, a liar. Fast forward to today. The amount of information we take in on a day-to-day basis has increased to the point where our confidence in its veracity has become a commodity itself. The almost ubiquitous experience of waking up to a flood of politically polarized breaking news on multiple screens has overloaded our ability to discern what is true. We are left with few options. When this observation hits good people, their usual reaction is to unplug and start a garden, or go to the gym to get back in touch with that simple reality they feel drifting from their reach. The other common option is to find a filter or become one. Broadcast media's historic domain is now controlled by social media companies and their offspring. The radio host and the rock star have merged into one being we call the influencer. Influencers serve as filters for overburdened minds and are paid handsomely for it. This new dynamic blurs the line between the production and the marketing department. The newsroom is now the bedroom where the influencer doom scrolls, and the marketing department is the bathroom where he literally shit posts. Over time, he curates a reality that makes it hard to distinguish performance from authenticity, while being incentivized, sometimes desperately, to maintain a steady flow of income and interaction. This is where we meet the modern-day grifter. Motivated by a dwindling ability to influence their own self-preservation, con men, pretending to be broadcasters, journalists, experts, or gurus, are capitalizing on your overburdened mind. They're manipulating you in an unprecedented time of high anxiety. If you try asking an influencer for a real solution, you'll be sent back to the garden or gym. And it's funny how that works. So did I believe a lie? Not implicitly, but yes. The dissident right and the influencers who milk it are lying to themselves. The cause has become a cancer, a cheap vehicle for self-victimization and bespoke cognitive stimulation. If the dissident right were a spaceship, then the next frontier is the loony bin. The pursuit of virtue has been abandoned for the comfort of echo chambers. Self-delusion has convinced the crew they're voyaging the galaxy, but when the ring lights and the fame fades, all that will be left is a tree fort in the woods. A safe space. I realized after securing a steady income from streaming that none of this one's for you is truly for you. That's a lie that has burdened my mind for a while now, and this is where it ends. I bought repeater.ca, so that's going to be my new website. Get it? Repeater, as in regarding Peter or things that interest me. Pete. Hopefully that clears things up. As for content, I won't be streaming until the American election cycle has calmed down. My plan is to gauge the response I receive to this and the new album and go from there. I'm fully aware that this means goodbye to a lot of you, but to those who stick around, talk soon.